Cold across the whole country from what I've seen. It's cold here in Texas, but hopefully spring will get here soon. I'm either have allergies or I'm trying to get over a cold that I got last week, so yeah, it's been fun. So welcome to week 3 of the Healthy Habits series. Just as a reminder, I'm a certified health wellness coach, holistic nutritionist, and my specialty is helping people and kids with chronic illnesses like ADHD, behavior issues, to help them get healthy and hopefully get off their medication. Okay, so as you know by now, you have been working on creating healthier habits. We are halfway done and we'll be working on week 3 today. So let's get started. Today we're going to be focusing on how habits actually work. By understanding how they work, we'll be able to make these changes in our everyday lives. A big part of learning and making these kinds of changes is merely having an understanding. Okay, so right now you may just be thinking that you need to change the habits you've established, or you might know that it's time to drop the unhealthy and negative habits and create the healthy and positive ones. Depending on what you know about habits, you might be at a slightly different place than other people, but still, it's essential to dig a little deeper and try and understand these habits. I think that a lot of us know what habits are, but we don't understand what all goes into them. There's a lot more to habits than just making these life changes and getting into the routine of doing something. Our goal today is to understand so we can continue to build healthy habits in our lives. To start, there's a 4-step pattern. Every habit you have follows this pattern. Every time you develop a habit, your brain uses the same 4 steps in the same order. This doesn't change. The habit goes cue, craving, response, and reward. Each one of us follows all of those steps when we have these habits. So let's talk about each step of that pattern so we can better understand habits in general. First, let's talk about cues. A cue is a trigger. It makes us start doing a particular behavior. A cue is basically a hint that gives us an idea of where a reward is. That cue is an indication that a reward is nearby. When you know that you're near a reward, then you have a craving for that reward. Before a craving or a reward is present, that cue doesn't have a meaning. Okay, the craving is the motivation. When you are craving something, you are motivated to get it. This motivation is essential. You are ready to put in work because you want to have that reward. You're prepared for it. Without it, you won't follow through with whatever needs to happen because the reward isn't there to motivate you. Next is response. This is a habit that you complete so that you can get the reward you want. When you're motivated, your mind is on the reward ahead. Okay, if you know you're going to work out for a month and buy yourself a new workout outfit, there's your reward, okay? The habit is a specific behavior that can be a thought or an action. Keep in mind that a habit can only be done if you are actually capable of doing it. If you choose a habit that is not a possibility based on your body type or your health status, you won't be able to do that. So keep this in mind when you're coming up with new habits. So that'd be like, oh, I'm going to lose 50 pounds in a week. Not really possible, not healthy. Okay, so keep it something that's attainable and something that your body can handle. Okay, because not every person can have the same habits because of their body type. So at the end of this, you will get your reward. This is what you've been working towards since you identified your habit. You've wanted to achieve that habit so you can get the reward you've wanted, right? I mean, who doesn't want that reward? When you work on the response, it's all about reaching that reward at the end. The reward has two purposes. It helps to give us satisfaction, and it teaches us. Another way to look at these 4 steps is 2 separate phases, the problem phase and the solution phase. In the problem phase, we have the cue and the craving. At this point, you know that there is a change to be made, which is where the solution phase enters. The solution allows you to make the next move so that you can make the habit change. When you have that problem phase, the solution phase is the next logical step. Think about a time that you've had a problem in your life. You just want to solve it and make a change. You don't want to let that problem stick around for too long. Keep in mind that the 4-step process is continuously happening and is endless. Your brain is always cycling through this habit loop. At some point, you probably won't even remember the habits that you've formed. They just happen. Okay, we all have habits we do without even thinking. Okay, that's why it's a little bit more difficult to stop those habits and create new ones, because it's something that we do without thinking about it. When you wake up in the morning, you have a particular routine. You might have had a similar routine from the time when you were a kid. Sure, things have changed slightly. You go to work instead of going to elementary school. You have also developed new habits over time. These might be eating habits or habits for your family to follow. Again, you might not even realize you're doing these things. They're just a part of your life now, and you're used to them. They're familiar. They're comfortable. They're like autopilot. A lot of you, sometimes you'll get in your car, and the next thing you know, you're at work or at the store, and you're like, how did I get here? Because your brain just does it without you even realizing that you're doing it. Some of the habits that you've created over the years are bad habits, which is why we're working on this problem. We're working on learning to swap out those bad habits for good ones. We want to ditch the behaviors that don't contribute to our success in life. Some of our habits really set us back. If you watch 3 hours of TV each night but can't seem to get a workout in, you're not able to be successful in that way. That is until you can make that change. Now let's go back to the 4-step process we looked at before, and we can use that same process to create our own habits. To start, you need to come up with a cue. Make it something that is obvious. Make that habit something you can avoid based on the cue that you see. For example, you can leave your workout calendar or your tennis shoes somewhere you always look. This will be an obvious clue that you need to go to the gym today. Then create a craving. This should be attractive. What are you craving? You want to feel healthier, have more energy, whatever you want. You want to feel blank. You might want to feel energized from a workout. You might want to feel healthier overall from getting your body in better shape. Next, create that response. How are you going to respond to that cue and craving? In this case, you'll go to the gym. You might go for a run. You'll be doing something active so you feel more energized and healthy. Finally, you will get that reward. You will feel healthy. You'll feel the success of getting your workout in. This is what you get at the end of the loop as a result of the rest of the steps. So now, I want you to take a moment to practice this. Think about the 4 steps that you will need to follow to kick your habits into action. Follow the cue, craving, response, and reward loop. And then post the 4-step process that has been personalized with the steps you're going to be taking. This is how you can implement the habit you've come up with. The reward you get from sticking to your habit does not have to be the same as the physical reward you come up with. Okay, so feel free to post it in the group under this video. Okay, and one thing that I wanted to remind everybody is that what makes a coach, a wellness health coach, different from a personal trainer, even a nutritionist. I am a nutritionist, but also as a health coach, is that we work on mindset and habit change and helping you work through those changes so that you can keep those new habits and not go back to the old way. Okay, so that is one difference between a health coach and someone who's not a health coach. We work on the mind a lot, the mindset and habit change. So please share your 4-step process. I'd love to hear about what habit you want to change, what your reward is from the last 2 weeks. We only have one more week. That's next week. Have a great Saturday, and I will see you then. Bye.